metal show. Today, our special guest is Vainglory lead singer Kate French, and of course, my co-host is Tom Collier, the guitarist from Held Hostage. How are you all doing?
We're great. How are you?
Yeah, now, Kate, I got to ask you. I've interviewed you a couple times before. Always great to chat with you. And most people who followed your tour, of course, know you as a great metal singer. I mean, early on, you played with Chastain, and now, like I said, you're in Vainglory, and we're going to talk all about that. But you also recently put out a solo album, Death Perception, which is quite different from what people know you as, the metal queen. So let me ask you about that. I mean, was that something you just wanted to kind of do something different? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So I'm 55 years old. I just turned 55 and I don't fucking care. You stop caring after 50. It's like you do what you want. So, I love metal stuff and that's great and all, but, it's kind of like, when you go into your journal to write something about or to someone or, or whatever you're doing, it's kind of basically like my journal. It's like me learning too. I'm learning today. Actually, I've got a song releasing tonight. It's called Baby Come Dance With Me. And it's not really about dancing, it's about other stuff.
Yeah.
But I am such a different faceted person. I mean, I do the heavy stuff, but I'm also very sensual. Sure. And I like the sex part and I like the love part and I like this part, and I'm a female. Sure. I'm not I just do a little bit of everything. And at this point in my life, I live my life with people saying to me, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck that.
In a way, that is a real metal attitude to have, because I'll tell you, when I first heard about stuff off Death Perception, my thought was, okay, it's different, but it's not bad. And there's a couple things with that. I think if people open their minds and they open their ears, they might be surprised. I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff off the solo album was a little more pop oriented, but that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's still kind of catchy, still kind of uplifting. So I dig it. And I think at the same time, it allows you the opportunity to show the diversity you have as a vocalist and maybe have a crossover hit, get different types of fans checking out your music.
Yeah, I'm going to do all kinds of things. I mean, I've done, this one is a dance tune. I wrote it's so funny in writing. I think my ultimate goal, like I talked to you about the first time, is to be a songwriter.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
There's some people that I really admire. Desmond Child is one of them. He wrote a lot of hit songs, and these people make huge amounts of money writing famous, writing songs for pop artists. And in my latter years, I'm seriously looking at the financial side of things and going, I better make some fucking money with my time. I mean, if you're doing something, you spend so much of your time being a metal person and pay for play or whatever, where you don't get shit and people shaft you all the time. And it's a tough life. My old singer from Chastain, or the first one, Leather, just did a tour in Brazil with my friend Vinny, and who plays guitar. And I mean, it's tough. Yeah. That's a tough road. You're waiting for people at meet and greets. You got 100 people in line. You're doing this and that. You got to go. For a woman, it is a tough thing. And I have a mortgage now. I have a farm. I have my home.
Wow.
And, I mean, I got 2 horses right outside right now that I got to let in at some point. But I mean, I am at the songwriter phase. And as you see on that album, I've done some heavier stuff too, but I'm trying to do some unique stuff as well. I would talk to you about pedal, where I'm trying to cross pop with metal. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, but really it's kind of my thing and my journal, and doing what I want to do, and just learning the audio recording. I'm doing Reaper, I'm doing FL Studio, I'm doing this all by myself from start to finish. So another thing is, I don't want someone to say, which they do a lot of time about vocalists, that she has no talent, or she doesn't know time signature, or she doesn't know theory, or she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and that's what I want, is to get really you know, just really good at doing what I do in the whole thing by myself, from the, you know, first start of anything to the mastering. I want to do everything from start to finish, and the last part is what I'm on now, and that's the mastering, which I haven't mastered yet. You know, I haven't got that
You're learning,
down, but I'm learning a lot about harmonic balancing and just a lot of things. Every time I do a song, I learn something new. So do you guys want to talk now?
Oh, that's great.
Hi, Tom. Hey, Tom, I haven't met you. How are you?
Tom, because I know he's got some questions too.
Yeah, I absolutely do. First of all, I have to say, I'm actually the president of a record company too. And I don't just have my own band, but listening to your Mel album, I loved it. Okay. I just thought it was so cool. I listened to everything you did. I love the fact that you went from heavy to just such a change up. And here's a person that everybody's going to laugh about. One of my good friends who sang on my last two albums, Ripper Owens, is one of the most melodic singers you've ever heard.
Love him. Yeah.
He did a song called Rise about suicide. I played the acoustic. I mean, it was just it was such a side of Ripper. When people seen us play that live, we're out on tour and they're going, that's Ripper Owens up there? And then we put the album out. So, I mean, I just love when people do what you did.
Right.
And really, to me, that's impressive. I have to say, that was like one of the most impressive things I've seen. I love your metal voice, but when you did that side of you, it opens up a whole new world.
So you're at the same stage of life that I'm
yeah,
we're kindred spirits. We do stuff because we love to do it, and we've already been through the I am metal and that's all I'll ever be, you know, mill. And I'm past that. I'm just kind of doing, and I love metal and I love everything. You know, there are different, if I'm angry and if I feel like ripping someone's head off, you know, and being like, ah, or whatever I want to do, I can do that. But I like that, you know, I have some dynamic. And I think in an album too, what I like to see is, you know, different things. And I want to hear, it's what intrigues me and what draws me in is the different dynamic. I just wrote a song called Rise Again, by the way. Have you heard that one? Rise Again. So it's just like, you know, when you're kicked down and you're burnt and somebody burns you or something, then you know that you're going to rise again. So is it that kind of thing that you wrote about as well?
My actually was about suicide. So I had members in my band. This band's been around for 40 years that committed suicide. One night I sat down and wrote it, and the craziest thing happened. I wrote that song. The next morning my phone rang, and it was this lady that called and said, I'm doing this major concert about suicide. And I was like, are you kidding me? I said, last night I wrote a song called Rise.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, but
you know what that is.
I do a lot of my music is true to life stuff. I do everything from heavy to, I mean, I toured with you name it. I've been out there. I played the Metal Hall last year. I brought Jason down there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Jason. He's the nicest guy. We're friends.
We're big.
I always look at your posts and love them. Did you see that?
Yeah. In fact, you know, you were my story today on the Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Yeah. You know, I'm grateful when anybody takes an interest or takes 5 minutes to listen to my songs. And I find that there's a lot of people that aren't really like that. And it's such a blessing when someone takes a minute to mention you, or, you know, or you have friends. And I have so much gratitude for that in my older age. And we're talking about suicide. I was just thinking about that today. And that's funny that came up because I had this friend, her name was, she was actually a competitor. Her name was Jill Janis. And what was her band? She had a Beast something. I can't remember, but she killed herself. They found her in the bathtub. And I thought about it today, and I thought, how does someone get to that point, you know, where they have that? I mean, I couldn't do that even. You know, that is such a, that, you know, and I felt sorry for her, but I remember being envious of her and thinking, I'm going to beat her in that. And we actually won a competition. It was on a Nuclear Blast.
Wow.
What the hell was the name of her band? I can't remember. Jill Janis.
I'll look her up. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Yeah, and she's committed suicide, and I couldn't believe it, and I felt so bad after that I was in competition with her. I didn't know she was feeling the way that she felt, that bad. It takes a lot of bravery, I would imagine, to do something like that too, because holy shit, I would never. Damn.
Yeah. It's always you gotta get better, you know.
But prayers to her, and I, you know, I felt really bad. So sorry, Jill. I love you. But anyway.
Well, Kate, I got to tell people, how I initially got turned on to you was actually your publicist, Florida PR, who I want to thank for
Lord.
setting this up today. But and actually, I never heard of you. And then, I like to do my homework before I interview anybody, so I go check out the music. I'm like thinking, man, this chick, she can belt it out as good as Halford, Dio, or
Yeah.
Dickinson.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is it that and then I learned you were in Chastain and all that, like, how is it that I did not hear about her? I have not heard about her. And I've been a huge fan ever since. And like you're saying, the fact, to look at you, people would not expect that metal voice to come out of you. Like she looks like an angel, but then that voice, and then like when you hear the stuff off the solo, it's like it's another side of you. I'm like, man, I love I love every aspect of what she's doing musically, and I think people just got to open their minds and check it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about all the stuff, and I know you guys and Tom, you're a musician as well, and it's just really weird, and followers and all that kind of thing that you get. I never solicit anything, I never go to anybody, follow me or do anything like that. And I'm not good at PR, and I probably need someone that can help get that thing going. But I'm so busy looking up health stuff on Instagram.
Actually, Kate, I gotta disagree with you because
I've got like 10,000 ads that I do for cats or funny shit. Every night I scroll through funny shit and laugh.
I do too.
I mean, Kate, I gotta disagree with you there because I myself visit your site a lot, just not only to follow what you're up on, but I love the photos. I mean, you started putting up some great photos, a couple of months back, and your photos, people just go to check out. I mean, I don't know if you notice how many people.
That's the whole idea behind that. Now that's my face, and it's AI, and there's a lot of really pretty things that you get out of that. And I think that's a great thing because you actually have your face and you don't have to go through photo shoots. I've done so many, and it's just such a pain in the ass. And then you edit, but I've been on covers of magazines and stuff like that, and you have to do all these different things. What happened?
I'm not sure.
Are you still there?
I'm still there. We're just listening. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Rise Again too. Like I say, I love the cover.
I got it. There it is. Okay. Something came up in the front. Like I said, with a computer, I haven't turned this computer particularly on in a while. And like you said, when you don't turn it on for a while, it's freaky. It's been popping up shit, and I don't know what's going on. But anyway, back to where were we on the Instagram thing?
I love the photo for Rise Again. That's a great one too.
Yeah, with the sun in the background. Now, a funny thing, I had a photo that I did an AI photo with me in this bathing suit, and my husband's like, that'll give a whole new meaning to Rise Again. You better not put that up.
It's funny you bring that photo up because did you see how many hits that got?
I kept it PG.
I'm looking at the number. Did you see how many hits that photo got when you posted it?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, if that's what it takes, if that's what it's about, whatever. Like I said, I don't get that. I mean, I don't get those. I need to do something about getting those. But then again, I think I'm 55. I need to focus on just developing myself and really getting my things out there for my legacy, or for, my son and maybe his kids, and really for just who I am, so that when I pass, that I'll have left something behind of my soul, of myself. Yeah. So that's kind of my main thing. What about you, Tom? How do you feel about that as a musician? Do you feel like that's kind of what you're doing at this point?
Absolutely. Everything. I was a single dad, so I know what you're talking about. I raised my son myself. And he flies to California. Whenever I'm playing, I live in New York. I'm playing around West Coast, East Coast. My son comes out to my shows and stuff like that.
Nice.
And now I have a grandson, so it's even better.
Oh, wow. How old's your son?
My son he's 34.
Okay, well, mine's 25.
There you go.
So I have a 25-year-old son, and you might know my ex, which is Larry Howe. He's from Vicious Rumors.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so they did that. He did a lot of touring, and he kind of did his own thing while we kind of stayed behind. But and we're all close still. But yeah, I mean, it's about the legacy now, and it's about just writing the art that's to the best of your ability. And two, I find myself getting into the art form of wanting to be a better lyricist, wanting to really get get that across. But it's just the whole thing all the way around and wanting to just be a better musician as well. Do you find that you're playing guitar more, or that you are you playing, or do you do anything with music actually?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just getting ready to do a new album. I put an album out every year. My last album spent 18 weeks on the Billboard charts.
Wow,
Great
that's
American
that's
Rock, yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Good
So
for
my next album.
you.
And how,
Yay.
share with her, how many songs were nominated for a Grammy? You know, you didn't get, but you were nominated, or up for it.
Nine songs. Nine
Wow,
songs.
I was nominated once for Chastain for this album that I did a long time ago, and I've got the thing. I think it's on my Instagram page on the nomination. But man, I didn't like that album that I did with him. The first one, it just sucked to me. It was just not what I wanted. But I guess some people like it. You know how the Grammys are nominated when they take peers and they're picked in a specific way. So it was
It's all
neat.
set up. It's all set up. I mean,
It was
it
great
really is.
though. I mean, it's a huge compliment because not many people get that. I know it's your peers have to nominate you and whatnot. So I was honored, and that's a great accomplishment. My friend Jim Pederick, who wrote Eye of the Tiger, he's won a couple. And he's legitimately had a bunch of songs on the radio and a bunch of Billboard, real Eye of the Tiger is still epic. It's still being played. He's still making money off that shit.
Oh, I
And
bet.
if I could write one song like that and retire, I'd be,
Yeah, Kate, what's that like too? You talk about the Chastain album. You weren't a huge fan. You didn't like certain parts of it. But what's it mean to you?
I love David though. I was so honored.
But what's it mean to you when fans come to you and they tell you, hey, you know what? I love that album. I love that song. And you're like, maybe they know something I don't.
Everybody, it just goes to show you that it's all a matter of, the individual. I mean, some people hate things, some people love things. And I find a lot of people afraid of putting themselves out there, putting their art out there. And what I've come to in, my older age, is that you got to just put it out. And it doesn't matter whether somebody likes it or somebody hates it. You have to put it out. And my husband just put something out called Reflections, and he's a guitar soloist, and he's been trying to do a solo album for many years. And I think he's got that kind of thing over his head where he's really in fear of judgment, and you have to realize that you need to move past that, and that no matter who you are or what you do, people are either gonna hate you or love you, and there's no way to get around even you as a person. Someone could hate your guts for no reason, and you're like, what the fuck? And then somebody loves you. I mean, so I just I'm grateful, like I said, for anybody that takes any time to listen to anything that I've done. I'm blessed that if they take a couple minutes to listen. I don't know how some of these people get these people to listen so much. I guess it's a trend thing, and then it catches on, and then I think that was a thing older, when you had a radio. It's monotony too, I think, in marketing. It's like you have like Another One Bites the Dust, or like the Quiet Riot, Come On Feel the Noise, and you're pounding that, and it gets out, and then it gets to be this trend, and then you get these followers, and then this thing follows. So I would like to do something like that, wouldn't you?
Kate,
that hasn't happened for me.
I gotta show you, Kate. I before we did the interview today, I sent Tom an email like of some of your videos and your music, and what so he could check it out. And what's interesting is, even going on YouTube, your videos, like for the Vainglory stuff and that, get a ton of hits. People are constantly checking out. Yet Vainglory is not Al's whole name, but yet you get those kind of numbers, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm getting, to be honest with you, because I don't go on anywhere but Instagram and look at funny cat. That's all I do is like stress relief, scrolling through Instagram. That's funny cat or whatever, or fart videos or or something like that, just something funny. But I don't really check my stuff. I need to check it more. I just need to get someone, I think, that gets up on it, and then that does that kind of stuff, and pay them a couple bucks to market me, so I don't have to do it, because I just am not real good at doing that. But I have I think I have one video with Chastain too that cringes the shit out of me. I'm like, they've slowed it down when I'm raising my arms. I'm like, bullet from a gun. It's bullet from a gun is what it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm raising my hands and I'm like, they had to slow it down with my armpits. I was like, what the fuck? It wasn't attractive. And
So you.
so I was wearing jewelry and I was doing all this stuff. I had my hair short and
That was a look back in the day though, right? I mean, yeah.
yeah, well, not really. It was, late 80s, early 90s, but at the same time, I think we all have stuff that we're not happy with and that we're happy with. So I just learned to live with it. But it's all fun, and I'm glad if anybody watches it. So I'm really glad you like what I did too, because I wanted to get something across to people that was personal as well, like depth or Technicolor Blue, something that talks about life, something that is closer to people's heart and death, and that kind of takes you through the gambit of life. And so I'm working for more of that. Like my favorite is Don Henley, like End of the Innocence, where he's writing beautiful songs about I love him. And who are your favorite songwriters, guys? Who is your favorite?
Well, I actually like.
What's your favorite song?
I like a lot of people. I like everybody from Aerosmith, the Eagles, Tom Petty, the Beatles.
So specifically, what song has touched you? What song do you listen to that you go, wow, that is really moving?
Or one that comes to mind is kind of Cinderella's ballad. If you don't know what you got till it's gone, because that's got so many different meanings.
Right.
You didn't appreciate somebody, now they're gone. You wish you did, or
right. Yeah. So out of all the artists in your lifetime, that one is your favorite.
That's not the one, but I mean that's one that comes to mind. I mean, I kind of run the. I think a lot of Eagles stuff.
I love the Eagles
songwriters. I mean,
yeah,
great songwriters.
Bill Walsh is a badass.
Yeah.
He's so cool. I love The Confessor. In the eye of the confessor. That's such a great song. And his whole thing that he does there. And the Eagles wrote some great hits.
I think the Beatles too. I mean, typically I listen to hard rock and metal, but you can't argue with the Beatles, great songwriters. And then you even look at something like when we talk about Helter Skelter, people listening to this think, no, that's a Motley Crue song. No, actually the Beatles wrote, that's about as metal as they ever got. Right. But you get my point.
Yeah. What about you, Tom? What's your favorite?
You will probably laugh, but here's a song that I think is a really deep song. It's by a Little River band called Cool Change.
I love that. There was
a point in my life when I went through a divorce and heard that song. Yeah. I left music for a while, and I was raising my son on my own. Yeah. I always said I'm going to come back and rock. When I left, my good friends from Man of War, I was out touring with those guys. They said, Ross and I are close. Ross said,
okay,
you're never going to come
Ross
back,
the boss. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ross and I talk every day.
Okay.
Yeah,
and we were big back in the 08, and we were conversating with him about something. I can't remember what he had.
Oh yeah, he's an icon. He's such a great guy. But Ross and I, when my son was born, he was at the hospital.
Oh.
We were going to the studio to record an album for my band Held Hostage, and my wife called me. I stopped and I said, we didn't have cell phones back then. I stopped and I said, I have a bad feeling. I called, my wife goes, I'm in labor. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we turned around, we all went to the hospital. Ross stayed at my home for 4 days. We partied like hell. I mean,
I remember those days. Yeah, when I was younger, I was a rager. I used to love that. We used to go to Foundations Forum and just party our asses off. Now it takes me like 5 days to recover from one glass of wine. So I don't do shit now. I mean, nothing, it's fucking boring. But I'm healthy. I mean, that's the main thing. I want to stay youthful and healthy, and I don't want to, look and die, before my time. So I'm doing my best to keep on top of that, but there's still stuff that happens. So with party, but that's very cool. Cool Change is a great song. And man, I like so many 70s songs there. I mean, what is the one there's one that I gravitate towards, and I can't remember the title off the top of my head. It's something about everybody coming together type of a deal. Love one another, and when you feel afraid, love one another.
I love it.
Yeah. Something like that. But light of the world, shine on me, Love is the answer. That's what it's called.
What is the answer? Okay. Yeah, wow.
So that's a great song too. I always post that. And that one, and I really do like I think my favorite female singer is the Evanescence girl, Amy.
Oh, wow.
And she has a song that's called Good Enough. And it's really, I gravitate towards that kind of thing. And I want to write more of that, but then I don't want to get too depressive on people. But I think a lot of people are struggling, especially with today's society, of not feeling good enough, like feeling like invisible and just not good enough, and it just sucks, you know, that. So that's something that it's called Good Enough, and she's talking about time and how, you know, it changes, and you're never good enough for this, but you're always good enough, you know. And that we have to remember that. So anyway, I'm spouting.
You know, as far as great songwriters, you mentioned Desmond Child, and that's a great name to bring up for the simple fact, not only has he worked with a lot of great artists, but for years we didn't even know what the guy looked like, but you knew the name, you know. Could you imagine? Success like that.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's I just follow him on Instagram. I am a huge Kip Winger fan.
There you go.
I love Kip Winger. I got a chance to get up with him and sing, and I didn't do as well as I want to. So they've tried to have me up other times. I know he wanted to get me up, but I just never got a chance to do it again. But he and Kip Winger did some big thing in Greece, and that's when I kind of noticed him on Instagram. And then I noticed, hey, he's writing songs like I do, and him and Diane Warren, who is another big artist, you know, have written a lot of songs for a lot of big people. So I started following him on Instagram, but I started following him through Kip. And Kip, I admire as a songwriter too. He's written some incredible song pages and pages. It's about the, you know, life, kind of like Turn to Page, Bob Seger type of a thing, but just a lot more. I'm very into orchestration and strings and counter melodies and things like that. And I like a lot of the songs that he's.
Kip Winger is very gifted at everything he does. I mean, he's got a lot of backlash over years, but he's
got a lot of backlash because he's you know, a little sexual, and a lot of men don't like that and don't vibe with that because it's a you know, he's got a lot of female followers, and I understand that. I get that. It kind of makes him look weird, and he's kind of had a little bit of an attitude throughout the years, and I understand that too, that men don't vibe with that, but the women like it. So but it's true. I mean, he's kind of a dick sometimes. So but I like that. I like that kind of machismo. I'm very much you know, I like masculinity and I like femininity. I'm not one to be you know, I'm a dude. I'm one to be like, can I get you a sandwich, you know? So I dig that, you know, whereas a lot of people don't. Like Metallica doesn't dig it. But that's okay. I dig Metallica too. They all can coexist together. I think they buried the hatchet with that whole thing, and Kip still has talked about it, and I was just like, shut up, you know, that's a dead horse, stop beating that. So he's very successful now, especially with his classical thing. It just debuted in Nashville with the Nashville Symphony like last week, and but he's somebody I admire.
So Kate, real quick before we wrap it up today, because we're getting ready to run out of time, what's going on with Vainglory?
Working on stuff still, working on things in between what we're doing, going slow with it, looking at August as releasing an album, and you know, just getting songs together. And we just got a new distributor through my record label, and Tom talked about his. I have a record label called Rebellion Records US, and nice. I've got a license with BMI and all that. We've had that for years. So Rebellion Records US is who I licensed through. And we got a new distributor, so we're pretty set to do what we want on our own, and we don't really, you know, we're good. It's just a personal, you know, thing. And I don't know if you do that for that as well, where you know, release your stuff, Tom, on, you know, your label to do what you need to do to license, just so that you can have more control over it and know what you're doing, or you know where it's going. So that's what we're doing with Rebellion Records US. So we'll release that in August, and maybe hire some promotional people or license to other countries. And our album is still, you know, this double CD. I have to flash this every time, because Benjamin Niebla, Online Metal Promo, is such a good guy.
Thank you very much.
Gratuitous push of Benjamin. I love Benjamin. Benjamin is awesome. Online metal promo. Manifesting Destiny 2 album released with the first and the second Vainglory on No Dust Records and Animated Insanity Records. No Dust is in Europe, Animated Insanity in the States, so it's still available.
Folks, we're running in time. Gotta say goodbye. See you
Oh, is it
later.
gonna run out?
Yeah, really, it's gonna cut us off.
Okay, love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Hey, Damien here. If you like today's show, please be sure to subscribe by clicking the link in the lower right-hand corner or on our page. Thanks for tuning in.